Okay, so we will continue our tutorial since the last one. Last one you learn how to create a basic stroke for S. And then now I'm just going to show you some simple trick to make it look a little more fancy. Okay, so like this. So we will go, let me open my previous project. Okay, so this is where we left from the last tutorial. We create the stroke for S, and inside the using the graph editor, we create a little ease on the speed of the animation. Okay, so next we have our animated stroke. Now let's add it a little bit, like change of colors based on the first stroke we created. Okay, so the step's pretty simple actually. Let's turn off the graph editor, go back to the timeline. This is just the SVAD text we created earlier. We don't really need this. So what we need to do now is we need to kind of combine these two layers, since this is the mask and this is the kind of the fill color underneath it, by holding Shift, select both layer, right click, go to pre-compose. Okay, pre-compose will let you combine multiple different layers from your timeline into one composition. So make sure you name your new composition something you recognized, call it as masked. Okay, so see, now they are combined into one composition. Okay, so you can actually see that also are showing this new composition under your project panel. And the cool thing is the two separate layer was not like deleted or gone. When you double click on it, you will come back and see the two layer we just combined it earlier. So you can still do modification down here, and then it will be like kind of updated in the kind of the bigger composition. Okay, so now let's add color on the composition. So as you know, of course you can change color in the fill color down here, but again, it's kind of a lot of work and you have to like do it like separately, and it will have like 6 layers in total. So making a pre-compose will make things a little bit cleaner and easier to manage. So first of all, let's use Command D to duplicate the composition. So I'll duplicate 3 times, so it will have 3 different color. And a faster way to apply color on the letters, we don't have to just change it in the fill color. We can actually apply a effect, okay, on top of the composition. Okay, so under here, here, effect presets. If you don't see it, go to window and check effect and presets. And the effect we need to use is the fill. Okay, so you can simply type in fill, and then you will find it under generate. Okay, so it's super easy to apply. All you need to do is just drag it and drop it on your layer. Okay, so I want my, okay, so I'll show you how to do it. So just simply select one of the layer and drop it, and you will see the fill color is being applied, okay, over here. And so you can see each composition, they can have their own separate effect. So I will add another one on the one in the middle. Same thing, make sure you selected a different one other than the one you already applied, and drag it and drop it on the scene. Oops, actually I think I accidentally put it on the same layer. So let's do it again. Okay, so if you drop it, it automatically put it on the first one. You can also drop it down here, so it will make sure it apply on the second one. Okay, now the first one and second one has the fill color. I'll keep the red, the bright red, but the first one I will change it to like a bluish color. Okay, so now when you hit play, of course they're completely overlapped, so we only see the color on the very top. So how to change that? It's actually pretty easy. All you need to do is just offset. the beginning point of that layer. Okay, so pretty easy. Okay, yep, just like that. Okay, I want the dark red to be the last color to be shown instead of blue, so I will need to kind of change the order of the layer a little bit. Okay, so this one should be in the end, and okay, now red is the first and blue is the second. Okay, I want blue to be the first, red to be the second, and the gourmet red will be the last. Okay, it's a little slow, make it a little bit closer. Okay, cool. So this is how you apply a kind of change of color in by using composition. Okay, next I want to show you another trick to add like some stroke around it, so you can also like animate a stroke along with the fill color. Okay, so we can go back and double click on our S mask and find the kind of the stroke path for the S. Okay, so we can just simply Command C, copy this layer, and go back to the previous composition, and just paste that stroke. Okay, so now the stroke is over here. Okay, originally is a fill with red. I don't want any fill color, so I will click on the fill and remove the fill color, and instead I want to have like black stroke. Okay, so I just added a black stroke around the fill color. Now let's add some animation. So it's pretty much the same thing we did earlier. Instead, of course, you can have the stroke like right like outside of the fill color, but I want to show you some trick. So if you go to like open the layer, find the add function, and then find the where's the offset path. Okay, so that way it will literally offset the position of the mask. And of course you can open the list and then modify the amount. Okay, so I think 10 was a little too much. I think I'll make it like 5. Okay, so just a little bit outside of the fill color. Okay, so same thing. Now it has that outline. Okay, it looks cool, but if it's animated, it'll be even cooler. So same thing you did earlier with this. The path is the trim path. So we added on the stroke, so we can apply again some animation on the stroke, just like that. Okay, so you can see like the beginning point of the animation is like starting from like the bottom. Okay, this is actually you can totally modify that. Okay, by changing the offset. Okay, so you can make it start from like the top, or you can make it start from like the bottom. Okay, I'll make it start from the bottom like this. Okay, so we'll leave it like that. So it will start from like this point. Okay, next let's modify the start and the end. Okay, so I wanted to start with nothing, and then it will like show and fill it. Okay, so we start with nothing, 0% with the start, and add a keyframe by clicking the clock, and then turn it into 0, so it will fill the stroke. Okay, so again, a little trick. You can also add not just the start, but also incorporate with the end value. So now I Command C, copy both of the keyframe in the start, and I click the end value, and then hit Command V to paste it. So now the start and the end value will change at the same time with a little bit offset of the time. So this is kind of the result that I get. Okay, if you want to have like a longer kind of stroke, kind of following the fill, you can, if you like move the space further away, like the stroke will like extend. If you like make it like just closer with the 2 keyframe, the stroke will be a little bit shorter. Okay, so just just the distance between the two stroke, it will have a little bit of different on the length of the stroke. Okay, so find something in between that you're happy with the result. Okay, so it looks pretty cool. Okay, next I want to add another stroke using something we created earlier. Okay, so again, go into our S mask composition. This time, let's copy not the outside of the fill, but the kind of the mask, the path we created. Okay, so same thing, we can Command C and then go back to our S layer. Okay, and Command V, paste it. Okay, so actually it's a good idea to rename the layer. So this is the kind of the stroke. Okay, and this will be like the inner stroke. Okay, whatever that is, if you can recognize what that is, it's a cool name. Okay, so it actually was a mask earlier when we copy it. We actually don't want it to be a mask. So remove the track matte from the previous layer and make sure the visibility is turned on. And I want to change the width and the color for the stroke. So I want the stroke to be white and then a little bit thinner, maybe around, I think maybe 8. Okay, so I did this really quickly earlier. It's always, you have the option to go in and then adjust the stroke to make it look smoother. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, so I also want to animate on the stroke. Actually, a pretty cool news is when we added the mask, there's that trim path already animated inside. So you can see it's following the mask inside of the stroke already. But if it's everything is kind of synchronized, it doesn't look as cool. So I want to have the stroke started from the bottom instead of from the end. So again, when they have a different beginning, different timing, your animation will look a little more interesting. Okay, so let's go find the keyframe we had under mask trim pass. Okay, so we have animation in the end value go from 0% to 100. Okay. So what do we need to do for changing that value? Okay, so if I want it start from the beginning, I mean from the end over here. So if it's a little confusing, you're not sure which one, you should like change, just mess around with the value. Okay, so I just found what I should do over here. So it should start like the start value should be 100 and end value should be 100. And then it should go to 0 later. So it starts from 100. Okay, and then over here, this should be 0. Okay, so I just have this animation and the stroke will start from the end. Okay, let me make it black so you can see a little bit better, like that. Okay, so I think it looks fine. Actually, I need to make it 100. Okay. But again, I think I like the kind of the offset effect that I have on the stroke. So same thing, let me copy my end value and then go to start and paste it. Oops, make sure the start value. Okay. Okay, it's a little wonky when I try to paste it, but okay, it works now. Okay, so a little offset. So the stroke will actually kind of remove what it follow along. Okay, so boom. Okay, here we go. We have the effect. And when we go back to the major layer, we can see our animation is playing in the beginning. Okay, let me move this to preview our workspace in a shorter duration so it will loop a little bit faster. Okay, so we have our S and add some more interesting effect on the color and the animated strokes, and it looks pretty good.